what makes the autonomic nervous system different than other parts of the body is that it operates both with and without our conscious awareness or our input. In other words, our heart will beat whether we want it to or not, but we can regulate our breath, and we can learn to regulate our blood pressure, our respiratory rate, and our heart rate, which also means we could regulate our emotional response to stressors. So there are two parts inside of the brain that are also interacting with the gas and the brake, the autonomic nervous system. Your prefrontal cortex, that's your front of the brain, which I refer to as the executive. This is really where the rational thinking comes in. Okay, I was about to park my car and this person just took my parking spot in front of me and looked over their shoulder and kind of snickered. You know, am I gonna lose my mind? Not right now, the kids are in the car. This is the part of the brain that regulates, and it also has the ability for those of you out there who have children, and you know when your child can't understand, when you say, if you do this, I will give you that. If you could just wait for 2 more minutes for mommy to finish this phone call, I'll give you a brownie. Your child doesn't yet have that ability to wait things out yet, because this part of the brain, the executive functioning, is not fully developed until you're 26 years old. The reason I chose the caveman is that is your amygdala part of the brain. That's the brain stem. It's the hijacker. When people get hijacked by their emotions, this is exactly the part of the brain that is primal. It is there in order for you to survive. It's developed, as I said before, if you are about to be in an accident, if you're about to cross a car or cross a street and all of a sudden you realize the car just made a left-hand turn, you jump back onto that curb. It's not a thought process. It's not a logical, rational thinker. It's an intuitive, instinctive response. It also is the activator of what if, oh no, I think. It produces a lot of anxiety and impulsivity. The reaction versus the response. If something just spilled, I jump up, it's a reaction. If somebody said something and I think I might be offended, but I'm gonna kind of roll with this, I'm choosing my response. The executive, the prefrontal cortex of the brain, chooses a response. The hijacker is the one who is short-tempered, who shoots off, who hijacks the whole brain and overrides the situation. So experience dependent means you have to practice changing your thinking. You can't just think it, you have to practice it, and you have to feel it in the body in order for this to change our wiring. All right, it's kind of like if I think about the gym a whole lot, I'm not gonna build muscle. I have to do these exercises and experience them on a bodily level in order to change the way my mind associates situations and the way my mind activates stress. If we try with more of an effort, more of a conscious awareness to take in the good, think about it for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. You know, when your little kid kisses you, when something goes well and somebody says, hey, that was a really good job you did with that. You're increasing the dopamine in the body, okay, which is the pleasure hormone. That's the drug that says like, oh, that was nice. That's a reward. This is also an example of the dopamine is when people are playing a scratch off. Somebody ends up putting $5 into a scratch off ticket and they win $1. They're like, oh, I won $1. Like, you still lost for it, but that's an opportunity to take in the good. And this is also how someone else just clicked in the chat. This is how you transfer short memories or little occurrences that occur from work, intimate partnerships, family relations, time with your dog. You're converting this from a short-term, momentary experience to long-term. And then you can also reference it to change my state and think of when my son or my daughter or my boss or my employee that I was mentoring, when things went well. You want to make these facts of little occurrences into experiences and transfer them into your long memory, the same way we do with negative experience.